Hello and welcome to Rotted Reviews, and it's time to take another Rotted request from one of my patrons, and this time, the movie that I've been requested to watch and review comes to us from Patron Shifty, and it is the 2016 film, The Neon Demon. Shifty says that the reason he picked out this movie is because it's a bit divisive, and he wants to know what I think. Also, Scumbag Keanu. Written and directed by Nicholas Winding Refn and also written by Mary Laws and Polly Stenham, this movie follows the character of Jessie, who is a 16-year-old model, or at least an aspiring model. And where she starts out with some amateur photography modeling, she soon catapults her way up the ladder of the modeling world, having to lie about her age at the advice of her agent, things along those lines. Somehow, some way, whenever she walks into an audition, she has that certain something that anybody is looking for. This all leads down a spiraling twirl of predatory figures in the industry, jealous models, and unscrupulous landlords of the little motel that she's hunkered down at. Now, I'm not going to lie, I was a bit trepidatious with this film. I'm glad that Shifty brought it up. It's been on my radar for a little while, but I haven't watched it, and there's a good reason for it. You see, this is at its very root a fairly significant entry into the modern-day Giallo film, and I just really haven't been a big fan of that. Taking a lot of inspiration from the Giallo films of yesteryear of the 1970s and just throwing all manner of colors at the screen with abstract imagery and calling it a Giallo film does not necessarily fit the criteria in my mind, and a lot of times it just kind of feels like weird for the sake of weird. Movies like In Fabric and Berberian Sound Studio have just kind of been lost on me. I appreciate them for the aesthetic art that they have, but as a storyline, it just really hasn't measured up. So when I saw that this film was out there and I saw some imagery from it, it became fairly clear what this was trying to emulate. And so far, on a modern level, that really hasn't resonated with me. A lot of people use the term style over substance, and I do think that there is a place for that in the world of cinema. Not everything has to be a deeply rich story that's unfolded. Sometimes it just has to elicit feelings and emotions from the audience through the use of imagery, and I get that, and that's fine. But I would argue that a lot of the modern resurgence that takes inspiration from the 1970s Giallo films are style in lieu of substance. Nevertheless, The Neon Demon was put on my plate, and I made every attempt to watch it with a certain sense of objectivity and open-mindedness. And what I found with this film is an absolute treasured love. This is most definitely not style in lieu of substance. I will say that it is style over substance, but that's a different ballgame. This movie fleshes out some interesting characters and puts them through their paces in fantastic ways, revealing layers of humanity and the depths of jealousy and intrigue that kind of fall within this mysterious industry. Yes, everything is absolutely awash in the most vibrant colors possible, but that doesn't detract from this, and instead it adds to it, and I think that that's a really fine line to walk. There was a lot of interesting abstract imagery in this film, but I don't think any of it was weird for the sake of weird or just trying to be an outsider presence. I think that it really worked in service of the story. Moreover, it did what good cinema does. It made me feel something. I think that at the end of the day, whether you're telling a story or you're just blasting people with imagery, that's what you're really trying to do as a filmmaker, is elicit emotion from the audience, and that's exactly what The Neon Demon did for me. It seems kind of odd to take a subgenre that's built on vibrancy of picture, vibrancy of sound, more, and to talk about it in terms of balance. But I think that that's really what The Neon Demon did well, was achieve a very decent balance between the abstract imagery, the colors, the music, the story, the characters, and all of that worked to deliver the emotional investment that I found in this film. Moreover, the performances that were in this film were absolutely fantastic. Elle Fanning as Jessie was the standout star of this movie. And yes, scumbag Keanu Reeves did the scumbag thing extremely well, with one scene in particular extraordinarily uncomfortable. But again, that's a situation of something that's of note. Disdain is an emotion, and I very much felt that for his character, especially as the movie progressed. I will take disdain over apathy movie any day of the week. There was one thing that I was definitely not with the Neon Demon, and that was bored. Nevertheless, I can absolutely see where the divisiveness comes into play. I can absolutely understand anybody watching this and not having it be to their taste. It is a bit out there, it is a bit strange, and it does suffer through some pacing issues that I don't think are necessarily terribly slow, but might still lull a few people in places. So I think that my opinion on the modern cello resurgence might be a little bit more nuanced, and some might say not entirely inaccurately, a bit hypocritical. So be it, I still found myself enjoying this movie nonetheless, and I'm very glad that Shifty recommended it to me. Thank you so much for watching this video. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please click like and subscribe, and remember, next time you want to watch a horror movie, first make sure that it's good and rotted.